CJ, why are you leaving Taiwan? What's wrong? Like, well, the government has made it impossible for me to live my life and grow. I've been living here on and off for the past 16 years. Really, really long time. I am looking forward, though, and quite excited for what is coming next. It's kind of like a podcast with myself here. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Blurring out the room behind me. My jail cell of a cement box here in Taipei. It's a little bit messy because I'm preparing to move out, but yeah, there's nothing to see. It's not a pretty place. Cockroaches. Hasn't been great, honestly. So here we are, going with no notes, no script. People have just been asking me, why am I leaving Taiwan? Very valid question. I mean, I've worked so hard to get back here year after year. Problem after problem. The pandemic really was the wrench. You know, it comes down to it. At this point, I'm just kind of bored and unhappy, and I feel like it's time to move on to greater things. I just don't really see things going anywhere for me here. Originally, 2 years ago, I came back as a university student, and this was during the pandemic, and I have another video on this about what happened in regards to me getting banned from Taiwan. The problem was everyone in my class, a lot of students from my school, my university at Taiwan Normal University, we overstayed our visas because we were told to stay at home and not do anything, not go anywhere. Several of us were sick. I was sick. But because we didn't have health insurance here, we were unable to go to the hospital and get medical proof that we were actually sick or affected. So that combined with overstaying meant we had no choice but to leave. So we went to immigration. They were like, you have no proof that you were sick, but that's okay. Normally it's just like a one strike system here. So fly out, go to Korea, go to Thailand, go wherever you want, get a new visa and come on back. So, okay, fine. I mean, that's pretty normal to have to fly out when you're applying for a visa and come back in. And the problem was when me and my other classmates, when we flew out, they did not give us visas to come back in. And so we were essentially trapped. I was trapped outside, and I ended up staying in Thailand for the greater part of a year and a half as a result. You know, I don't think streaming's the end meets all for anyone. It's, you know, I love it. I want to do it every day and continue doing it every day. But I also want to branch off and work on other things too. And so I had plans and connections here in Taiwan to start up businesses, primarily through the entrepreneur program. And the leaders of that, you know, were excited and backed me and my ideas. And it's not just like streaming as a business idea, but like other things on top of it. So they were like so sure they could get me the work visa and permissions and set me up with an office and everything here, which was like a bigger part of the reason that I came back from Thailand, because they made these promises to me. And well, frankly, the government made a promise to me as well that they would give me a new student visa, but they didn't. So I applied, I went through all the ropes, and I got a message back after turning in my passport that the government here would not approve my work visa or entrepreneur ideas, even though the organizations had already backed me and all that. They won't give you a reason why. They won't tell you what to change. They won't tell you anything. And my manager here was starting to think that maybe I have some kind of like work ban. It's sort of normal if you've overstayed to not be permitted for work or to get an ARC card for 5 years, up to 5 years. But that's not what immigration told me in person. They said you get, you know, one strike, like I mentioned, and they promised to honor our agreement that I could come back as a student. Like I was fully enrolled when I was in Thailand. Like I was still supposed to be in school, and they didn't let us come back. So now the problem is, well, now they're not letting us start businesses either. So at this point, like, what am I doing here? What is my goal? Because this changes everything. If my manager actually is right and I can't work here for another 5 years for myself or for someone else, then like, dude, what am I doing? Am I just gonna like wait until I'm 40 years old and not have health insurance? Like, ridiculous. So wasting my time. I'm done here. I used to be super pissed off, but like, you know, I've come to terms and accepted what's happened. There's a lot of other things going on with the city too, post-pandemic. Like, I got so many friends my age, a little bit younger, that are bored and have left. The inflation here has been so insane. Night market food is not cheap. Just nothing is. It's people come here expecting to find like cheap eats at the famous night markets, but it's just not a thing anymore. So it's really going to be up to the young generations, I think, to rebuild the city and the economy, because the night markets are unpopulated. Tourist destinations are still closed, and I'll have another video on this, like describing everything in more detail. But it's just not the place it used to be. You know, I just don't feel like I can grow anymore at this point. I'm not getting anything out of it either. It's kind of like achieving something at your work and doing something really great, but then the company takes a turn for the worst and things aren't so great anymore. That's how you know it's time to leave, because you're never gonna get to relive those glory days, no matter how much you try. And like Kevin O'Leary says, if your business doesn't do great within 3 years, it's time to take it out behind the barn and shoot it. Well, I'm not shooting anything. I'm still a content creator. Hey-o. But I am moving. I am leaving to do better and greater things elsewhere. So hopefully that clears it up for some people. I get people jumping into my live stream every day asking, CJ, why are you leaving Taiwan? CJ, why are you leaving Taiwan? What's wrong? Like, well, the government has made it impossible for me to live my life and grow. I've been living here on and off for the past 16 years. Really, really long time. Altogether, maybe 5 or 6 years on and off. But Taiwan has always felt like my home, no matter where I've been elsewhere around the world. But after trying so hard and finally making it back here, it's just not the same. And frankly, it doesn't feel like home anymore. A lot has changed, for the better or for worse. I am looking forward, though, and quite excited for what is coming next, because it's going to be great for me mentally, personally, for the viewers, for content, for other businesses that I would like to begin. So keep checking in, and I hope to see you there in the chat. Have a great week, everybody.